It's Gunvor time! Welcome back to another Mythic Plus guide. This time we're venturing into the Arcway, one of the two Mythic only dungeons. Well, until the new Karazhan comes out. Let's do it! So this dungeon doesn't really have a particular order for the bosses, as RNG determines which way you can go this time. But I will go from the order I got. First up is General Xakal. He's kind of a light Sakun from Hellfire Citadel. He will spawn fissures on the ground. These will deal damage if you stand in them. They will later form into a spire, dealing pretty high damage to anyone standing near it. He will slam his axe into the ground, dealing high damage to everyone. The boss will sometimes target a random player and shoot a wave at them. This also leaves crap behind on the ground which you cannot stand in. Lastly, he will summon some adds, which you can just pull to the boss and cleave down. Then you will reach Naltira. She will teleport around to a random player and start flailing wildly. Just move out of the way. She spits venom at players, which leaves behind a pool of crap. If you stand in it, you will take ticking damage as well as having your haste reduced by 500%. Sometimes she binds two people together with web, dealing damage every second. To break this, simply have those two people move away from each other. Lastly, she will periodically spawn adds. These work just like the trash mobs you just killed before the boss. They will jump onto a random player and attack their face, rooting them in place. Jeez, these bosses sure goes quickly. It's like they have really simple strategies or something. Next up is Korstilax. He has quite a number of abilities, but is in fact pretty simple. First off, he will place a random player in a crystal. Just have another player click it to free him. He will then unleash a barrage of missiles at a target for the next 5 seconds. Sidestep these if possible. After a while, pools will start appearing all over the floor. If you run over these, you will absorb it, increasing your haste by 15%, and this stacks as well, so be sure to pick them up. Though you might wanna be a little careful not to have too many stacks, as his next ability counters that. He will remove a total of 4 stacks, and if you have any stacks left by then, you will take a shitload of damage and get stunned for 12 seconds. Last but not least, he will summon an orb that deals rather high ticking damage if stood near it. Let's move on to Ivanir. He will constantly spam the tank with arcane blasts. He will also link 3 players together and push them away from each other. When it expires, it will create a pool of shit in the area between the players. So a good idea here is to try to make the pool as small as possible by clumping up. He sometimes marks random players, causing them to explode. This basically damages anyone stood near that player, so keep away. After a while, he will start channeling from the crystal behind him. He actually never got to do this in this run because of our super awesome DPS, but just saying. When he does this, interrupt him immediately. After that, the crystal will start going haywire and emit bolts. These travel in random directions, so you just have to take it as it comes and dance around them. After coming full circle, you only have Advisor Vandross left standing. He is probably the most complex boss in here, but that's not saying much. His main ability is Accelerating Blast. This just deals some damage to the tank, but it also increases the boss's haste by 5%, and it stacks. This one can be interrupted though, so you want to set up some kind of rotation for it, as it comes in rather often. He will summon shards that float around. After 8 seconds they will explode, so keep that in mind. He will sometimes cast Force Bomb. This ability is very similar to the rings that the last boss in Heimal did. It will deal constant damage if stood in the area, and it will keep pushing you outwards. You just basically have to run against it. When the boss reaches 50% HP, he will teleport everyone away to a random area in the dungeon. This starts a gauntlet to which you have to get back to the boss in under 2 minutes, or else you're gonna die. Along the way you will face some mobs that are very easy to kill. They will stun people though, so have interrupts at the ready. When you're back to the boss, it's just ladder, rinse, repeat. So that's what you need to know from here. If you enjoyed the guide, be sure to assault the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Gunvor out!